There is a certain kind of silence history leaves behind, not the silence of absence, but the silence of things that once worked so well, so naturally that no one thought to write them in ways the modern world would respect. Systems, practices, ways of doing business that built wealth, stability, and influence across African societies. Long before balance sheets and MBAs became the language of success. And yet, today, many of these practices are either forgotten or misunderstood. So in this video, we're going to slow down just a little and revisit 7 forgotten business practices used by pre-colonial Black African societies that quietly powered prosperity. Not as nostalgia, but as blueprints worth remembering. Number 1. Community-based credit systems. Before banks, there were people. Across many African societies, rotating savings systems allowed individuals to pool money together and take turns accessing larger sums. No interest rates, no credit scores, just trust, reputation, and mutual accountability. Each member contributed regularly and at different intervals. One person would receive the entire pot. It wasn't just about money, it was about timing opportunity, starting a trade journey, expanding a fam, paying for major life events. What made this powerful wasn't just access to capital, it was access without exclusion. Wealth didn't sit still, it circulated. And maybe that's the first lesson. Money grows fastest when it moves through people, not institutions alone. Number 2. Apprenticeship as economic infrastructure. In many traditional African economies, you didn't just learn a skill, you were absorbed into a living system of knowledge. Blacksmiths, traders, weavers, leather workers. Each craft operated through deeply structured apprenticeship models. A young person would leave with work under and eventually inherit both the skill and the network of their mentor. But here's the part we forgot. Apprenticeship wasn't cheap labor. It was long-term investment. Master trained apprentices not just to work, but to eventually become independent, successful, and respected. Because your apprentice's success became your legacy. In today's terms, it's different between hiring for output and circulating and cultivating for continuity. Number 3. Reputation as currency. In many pre-colonial African trade networks, contracts weren't written, they were lived. A trader's name carried weight. If you were known for fairness, consistency, and integrity, doors opened across regions, even across ethnic and linguistic lines. And if you broke trust, the consequences weren't legal, they were social. You become known, and being known in the wrong way could quietly end your business without a single formal sanction. So people protected their reputation like assets because they were. And maybe this is something we've diluted today, where branding often replaces character. Back then, they were the same thing. Number 4. Decentralized trade networks. African commerce didn't rely on a single center of control. Instead, trade flowed through interconnected networks of merchants, middlemen, and specialists. Goods moved across vast distances, salt, gold, textiles, cola nuts, not through centralized corporations, but through layered relationships. Each trader understood their role in the chain. No one needed to control everything to benefit from the system. It created resilience. If one route failed, another adapted. If one trader disappeared, the network absorbed the loss. This wasn't inefficiency, it was distributed strength. In a world now obsessed with scaling upward, this reminds us there is power in scaling outward. Number 5. Seasonal business strategy. Many African economies were deeply attuned to cycles, rainfall, harvests, migration patterns, and festivals. Business wasn't static, it moved with time. Farmers diversified crops based on seasonal predictability. Traders timed journeys to align with markets, peaks. Entire communities adjusted labor and production rhythms to match environmental realities. This wasn't just survival, it was strategy. Modern business talk about market timing like it's a discovery, but these systems were already optimizing around cycles long before data analytics existed. And maybe there is something to relearn here. Growing isn't always about pushing harder. Sometimes it's about moving in rhythm. Number 6. Wealth as a social responsibility. In many traditional African societies, wealth wasn't meant to isolate you, it obligated you. Successful individuals were expected to support extended family, sponsor community events, and contribute to collective well-being. At first, this might seem like a burden of wealth accumulation, but it also did something else. It redistributed opportunity. By lifting orders, wealthy individuals expanded their own networks of loyalty, labor, and influence. Generosity wasn't separate from business, it was part of the strategy. Because in a relational economy, your strength is measured not just by what you have, but by how many people you stand with. Number 7. Oral contracts and adaptive agreements. With formal paperwork, agreements were often spoken, but that didn't mean they were vague. Terms were clearly understood, witnessed by others, and reinforced through cultural norms. But unlike rigid written contracts, these agreements could adapt. If circumstances change, drought, conflict, unexpected loss, terms could be renegotiated within the framework of fairness. It created flexibility without chaos. People weren't locked into agreements that could destroy them. At the same time, they couldn't exploit flexibility without damaging their reputation. It was a system built not just on rules, but on relationships. When you step back and look at these practices together, a pattern emerges. These systems weren't built on extraction, they were built on connection. Connection to people, connection to time, connection to reputation, connection to community. And maybe that's why they worked. Because success wasn't just measured in accumulation, but in community. In whether what you built could adapt, last, and support others beyond you. So the question isn't whether these practices belong in the past. It's whether we've outgrown them or simply forgotten how to recognize their value. And maybe, just maybe, some of the answers we are searching for today have been quietly waiting in yesterday all along. If you find this video interesting and it had a lot of impact, you can subscribe and like for more of this business content. We will be pouring in more.